Championship exemplifies these qualities more than the Royal Bank Cup. At the start of the year, 137 teams from coast to coast began the long and arduous journey towards the national title. And with a playoff format that began in early February, many teams were unable to withstand the grueling test of endurance and quickly fell by the wayside. Now there's only 2 teams left, earning the right to play one more time. And this game is what they've been waiting for all year, the final of the Royal Bank Cup. A beautiful early spring day in northern Alberta. We are in Grande, Prairie for the final of the Royal Bank Cup between the Kindersley Klippers and the Aurora Tigers. And then there were 2 as we bring you inside the Crystal Center. A legacy from the Canada Winter Games held here in 1995. Great barn, one of the largest ones out here in the Western Junior A hockey circuit. And today a national title will be decided right there on that ice. Hi everybody, Dave Brandorf along with Dave Reed. So it is the final of the Royal Bank Cup. You've been all the way for the Stanley Cup twice. You know how tough that is, and that is the ultimate prize, but this is no piece of cake to win this one either.
Well, winning the Stanley Cup only means you have to win 16 games in the playoffs. You talk to the coaches and some of the players in these teams. They've been playing playoff hockey for over 2.5 months. They played over 30 games. Aurora, this is will be their 34th playoff game. That's not even close to what you have to do to win a Stanley Cup when you're talking about intensity in every playoff game.
And it all comes down to a round-robin tournament here with 5 teams. Let's show you how we arrived at the last 2 teams. Grande Prairie, the host team, they were knocked out last night in a semifinal against Kindersley. And look at Kindersley's record through the round robin. They had to win get their only win in their last game against Nanaimo just to get to that semifinal. And we'll talk more about that as we go along. But we're going to start with Aurora. If there was a number 1 seed coming into this, pretty good argument for the Aurora Tigers. It's their first trip to the Royal Bank Cup, but they certainly don't appear to be out of place when you look at the numbers they've rolled up all season long.
Oh, they've had a fantastic season. 2 losses in the regular season games. Their goals for and against, 79 goals against, led the Canadian Junior League in goals against in the regular season. The Aurora Tigers, they're here to win. They've been gearing up this for not just this season. They've been in it for a couple of seasons to come to this point and win the national championship.
They're here to win, and they're here to score. They can be explosive offensively, and right now they've got one big line carrying the load. Francis Walker, number 19, Matt Bain, number 21, and Sean Scully, who will be wearing number 9.
Well, Sean Scully's from Ottawa, or he played with the Ottawa 67s. He is the big, not the higher gun, because that's Frenchie Walker on the other side, but Scully is the big, strong winger who does the work in the corners, and you don't give him the puck around the net because he can bury it. He has been scoring some nice goals in this tournament. He has got points in every game so far in this tournament. The only player who can say that. 5 games, a point in each game.
As for the Kindersley Klippers, they got off to a terrible start in the round robin, going 0-3, but then they have somehow weathered the storm and played much better in their last game and then in the semifinal against Grande Prairie, and they got it together.
Well, they did get it together, and this is a very tough way to come into the final. But you know what? They have played, the last 2 games they played are just like playing a final game, because if they had lost the last round robin game, they wouldn't make the semifinal. You lose the semifinal, you don't make it to the final. So they're prepared to play last-minute desperation hockey because they've done it for 2 games. Whereas Aurora, they kind of got in with an easy win over Nepean, 7-2. Players wouldn't say it's easy, but 7-2 was fairly easy for Aurora. So Kindersley, in this tournament, the last few games, have been on top of their game.
And right now, the story with them is their 19-year-old goaltender, a guy by the name of Kevin Jodek, a guy who wasn't even with Kindersley for the whole regular season. He was picked up from Yorkton after they were eliminated, and he stepped in, and he's done a great job in the playoffs for this squad.
He's done an absolutely fantastic job, and he wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the goal. Kindersley wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Jodek. He had 55 shots thrown at him against Nanaimo. Talking to Kelly Chase, who's here watching his nephew play, he said, you know what, they didn't even have to flood the other end of the ice the way Jodek played. Kindersley couldn't get the puck out of their own zone, and Nanaimo was all over them. And if it wasn't for Jodek, like I said, they wouldn't be here.
I think I gained my team's confidence, coming to the team as a third goalie at the beginning and get throwing into the fire in the Anavet Cup before to make the Royal Bank Cup. Gain their confidence there by winning 3 games to make it here, and it's just been a roller coaster ride from there.
That is a guy who was named the most valuable player of this tournament on a team that went 1-3 through the round robin. That is how good he has been. So, you all ready for a national championship game? It's Kindersley and the Aurora Tigers. We are glad to have you with us. Stick around. Should be fun. Big crowd expected. Face-off is next on TSN.
The 2004 RBC Royal Bank Cup on TSN is brought to you by RBC Local Hockey Leaders, recognizing dedicated volunteers who support hockey in their communities. By Esso. At Esso, we're drivers too. And by Bauer Nike Hockey, accelerating the world's fastest athletes. The 2004 RBC Royal Bank Cup on TSN is brought to you by Molson Canadian. It's a Canadian game. By Chevrolet. Chevrolet, proud to support Canadian hockey through sponsorship of the Royal Bank Cup. By Steel, makers of the world's #1 selling chainsaw and full line of outdoor power equipment. And by Hankook Tires, driving emotion.
About a 7-hour drive south of here in Grande Prairie, the Calgary Flames played a pretty big playoff game, and it didn't work out for them, but they'll play another day. There is no next game for these two teams. It's one game, winner take all, and we'll start by introducing you to the starting goaltenders. Brought to you by Chevrolet for all of life's roads. That is Jodak for the Kindersley Klippers. We told you about him. And down to the other end, 21-year-old Chris Whitley will be between the pipes, as he always is, for the Aurora Tigers. The veteran playing his last game here today in Grande Prairie. The officials are Gerard Brajot from Edmonton. Miles Spencer is also from Edmonton. And Cam McMillan rounds out the all-Alberta crew. He is from Calgary. The Tigers are the home team. They are in the white uniforms with the yellow and black trim, while the Kindersley Klippers, the Western representative out here, in front of their fans, wearing the dark unis with the white numbers, and we are underway as the Aurora Tigers dump it right into the Klippers zone. Back to get it is Vaughn for the Klippers, up the boards where it's kept in there and sent right back in. Jay McCloskey, number 19 for the Klippers, can't handle it. Brenner, the Tigers captain, is given a real rough ride there by Chris O'Connor. Out of center ice, Kindersley dumps it in. Straight in on the goaltender, Whitley, who covers up, and we have our first face-off.
Well, the Kindersley Klippers, there's the coach. Dave Hunchuk is his name. He's been with this team and this organization for the better part of 9 years. He was a player, and as the team moved from Saskatoon to Kindersley, he's been a head coach for the last 3 seasons with this team, and he's very, very excited about what his team brings to the rink today.
He's the head coach and GM of this Klippers team. Population 5,000 in Kindersley. About 500 have made the 9.5-hour drive here to Grande Prairie to watch their team playing their first Royal Bank Cup final.
Aurora was hoping to get here last year, but unfortunate circumstances in one of their final league games. Marty Williamson was telling us about that, the Aurora head coach, but he's very excited. He has got a team with Aurora, a very veteran-like team. They've got a lot of last year players up front and very young back end.
Matt Bannon to take that draw. Here's Francis Walker with a quick shot right on, and right off the mark, Jodak is sharp. Kevin Jodak has that shutdown ability in the net for the Klippers. And it's Mark Kelts starting the rush up to Jason Fleck. Fleck is the leading scorer right now for the Klippers. He's on the line there with number 10, Casey Lee. Two guys who played a real big role in their semifinal victory last night against the Grande Prairie Storm, knocking out the home team. Now here's a turnover inside the Klippers blue line, but they recover and get it out. Larocque chips it off the glass. They're along the near side boards now, picked up by McNarty. Steve McNarty over the Kindersley line, snaps a shot that deflects off some shin pads and into the corner. Now they'll come out. This is Steve Maddock with the lead pass, was looking for Seidel. Seidel finishes the job and chips it in there. Whitley out of his net to the line, not out. That takes a crazy hop off the glass, and Josh Sim is on it, wearing number 25 for Kindersley. Kitchen gets it into the middle, and Aurora will get it out. Alex Lalonde, McNarty, and now this is Kyle Aikenhofen. Here's Aurora right in, and it rolled off the stick of McNarty. He was right in there. McNarty still looking for his first goal of the Royal Bank Cup, has 4 assists. No goals. Now here they come. It's Seidel. Seidel over the line. With help tries to go wide. Makes a move. One save by Whitley, and the rebound is cleared. Couple of good chances there for Kindersley. Now Minchella for Aurora. Winds up. That shot is blocked before it goes anywhere. Tonelli rubbed out along the boards. And Kindersley gets it out again. Jeff Gilbert back to get it for the Tigers. Almost lost control of it. Gets it up the boards, and they clear it. Up to center ice now. Aurora with it. Minchella leaving it for Tonelli. Mike Tonelli, no relation to John, by the way. Centers that out in front. That play was broken up by Kindersley, and now they'll come up. Number 23 is Justin Wilczynski. He lost control of it. Circling back now is Cody Vaughn. His pass to the far side boards is picked off there, and Aurora will start out. Here's their captain, Grande, and his pocket picked to the line. Backing up with it now is Leclerc. Inside the Kindersley blue line now. Lead pass doesn't click. Jocelyn broke that play up, and Leclerc retreats into the far corner. Rory Leclerc tries to go near side to his defensive partner, Derek Jocelyn, who regains his footing and then skates it out. Curtis Baselinski now, the captain for the Klippers, intercepts that pass. Aurora sends it in. Back to get it is Mark Kelts. This is Kelts for the Klippers. Up to center ice. Dumps it in. Does not get it deep. And back on the Tigers. This is Walker. He's dangerous. He's got help. Snaps a shot. That was deflected before it reached the net. Watch for number 19, Francis Walker, playing in his 3rd consecutive Royal Bank Cup with his 3rd different team. He is a hired gun, and he gets the job done offensively. Fast-paced start to this hockey game as Aurora breaks into that pass. Didn't miss the far side by much as they were trying to set up Matt Bain. Bain now in the near corner, looking for the handle. Walker in to help him out. Bain's in there with them, but so is Jason Fleck. Now it rolls in behind the Kindersley goal, and picking it up is Thomas Hewling, and that goes over the glass, and finally we have a whistle here.
Excellent pace to this game, and you got to remember, in this junior championship game, there's no center ice line. And here you can see the round-robin meeting. It was a 5-0 game for the Aurora Tigers. There was 1 short-handed goal in the game and 4 power play goals in the game. So both teams came out of it saying, well, you couldn't get much of a read off it. It was early in the tournament, and neither team really felt that one team had that much of advantage. It was strictly a special teams game.
Joel Kitchen in to take the draw for Aurora. It's controlled by Kindersley, and out comes Fleck to center ice. Fleck in over the line, takes a shot, sharp angle, handled by Whitley. It rolls in behind the goal. Up the near side boards for Alex Lalonde. He took a swing at it. Now McNarty pins his man. Here's Kitchen now. Can't get it out. Vaughn sends it right back in. Here comes Lalonde with a head of steam. Kitchen's up ahead of him. He sweeps at it, sends it in on the goaltender, just wide of it. And Jonick left it there for his defensive partner. Now Fisher fans on the pass, gives it up to Kitchen, who turns back the other way. Try to make a move at the line, and now it's sent in there by Mike Koska. Koska, who is ranked on the Central Scouting list, the final rankings list, 165th heading into the draft. He moved up 60 spots this season, which is a big accomplishment for him. Aurora on the move here. In behind the goal it goes. Minchella with some forechecking pressure. Kept into the line by Jocelyn. Sends it in towards Jonick, who steers it aside. Here's Minchella now, leaving it for Doug Henderson. His centering pass was broken up. And now coming out with it is Josh Sinn. He couldn't get too far. Minchella back the other way. Jamie Minchella down the right wing board. Snaps a shot. Save. Big rebound and another stop by Jonick. Great stop on the rebound that went right to Tonelli. Fast pace continues here in the first period. The gold medal national championship game here at the 2004 Royal Bank Cup. There's a centering pass. Deflects in behind the goal. Koska now with the puck. As Brenner heading up center ice. Brenner was covered, so he dumps it in. In on the puck now is Aurora with Brenner being helped out by Sam Skorchuk. In behind the Kindersley goal, centering pass. Olden is after it. Here's Olden in behind the goal. He tries to center it as well, and that's slipped aside by the ever alert Johnny. Down the ice it goes. Icing is the call. There haven't been many whistles, but there's been a lot of fast pace. A lot of this stuff. 23 is just good one. Early accomplishment for him.
Crazy Eddie is in the building. He was here yesterday, last night, as Kindersley beat the home team with 35 seconds to go, and you're going to see and hear lots of him today.
Olden wins the draw for Aurora. Shot right on the mark off the stick of Sam Skorchuk, and another save by Jodek.
Kevin Jodek has made a couple of big saves just before with this last whistle. He's going to be tested regularly because the Tigers just don't stop on the offense.
This time, face-off is controlled by Kindersley. Kelts gets it ahead. McCloskey drops it off for Basilinski. There's a shot and a stop by Whitley in close quarters. Curtis Basilinski, the captain for the Clippers. He's speedy. Led them in goals in the regular season. He has 2 here at the Royal Bank Cup. Brenner, the Aurora captain, flips it in. Back to get it is Brady Larocque. Larocque is forced to make a move at his own blue line. Now it's hopping around inside the Tiger zone, and it's scooped up by Francis Walker. Walker trying to get it ahead to Matt Bain. Into the middle. Pass is turned over and turned back by Troy Schwab. Another guy who can put the puck in the net for the Clippers. Whitley out of his net to handle it. To the line and out. Looking for a loose bone there was Skelly. He was just a step behind the play. Leclerc makes a move, gets it up ahead to Bain. Bain far side for Scully, winds up, takes a shot, a weak one that goes wide of the mark. It comes to the line and out. And here's Fleck at center ice with a head of steam. Fleck tries to make a move, following up on the play is Lee, but instead Aurora gets it out of their zone. Now Scully up ahead to Kitchen. Here they come, 3-on-1. In front, Francis scores! A 3-on-1 rush by the Tigers, and they score the opening goal of this hockey game, 1-0.
6th goal determined for Francis Walker, and that is the guy that you just cannot let get in. He is the hired gun. Marty Williamson told us in a meeting last night, he said, this is the guy who scores goals. He's been around. He knows how to put the puck in the net. An absolutely beautiful feed by Joel Kitchen, but this all starts coming out of the Aurora zone. Kindersley attacks a lot stronger on the forecheck than you're going to see the Tigers. The Tigers are much more of a trap team, and Kindersley twice got caught on outnumbered rushes because they're going to force 1, 2, and even the third guy will step in the odd time, and that chance cost them a big goal.
Whoa, and they almost got another one as McNarty was just a second too late. Jodek was well out of his net, and Aurora is looking for more. Kitchen with more forecheck pressure. He's out there with Lalonde, and McNarty cruising around in the slot. He goes into the far corner. Lalonde's after it, and so is McNarty. He's got it on his stick now. Back to the line for Aitken. Turns and takes a shot. It's knocked down in front. Francis Walker with his 6th goal of this Royal Bank Cup. He leads all goal scorers. He led with 5, and now he just extends his lead with his 6th. On an odd man rush by the speedy Aurora Tigers club. Now here's another turnover as Henderson was dumped. Now Lalonde turns and fires it in there. Right in front, there's Henderson with a shot, and another save by Jodek as he came out and challenged the shooter. Over on the far side, there's Koska. Takes a shot, scores! What a beauty by Mike Koska, and it's 2-0.
Michael Koska is going to be going to the University of Massachusetts next year with a tremendous wrist shot from the blue line. And I don't know, I can't say that Jodek was screened because I think he saw it. I just think it beat him clean. But this all starts with a great bounce off the end boards. Great little change of pace there. That's something that you don't see in a lot of young defensemen. Most defensemen will wind up and just hammer that. And Jodek got caught going down. He moved on the initial play and a little two-step. But Mike Koska gives a completely different look and a completely different angle on the shot, and it caught Jodek as he wasn't able to regroup and get back in position.
2 goals in just over a minute. 1:06 officially. 2 quick goals by the Tigers. And they have these Clippers in a hole, but don't be fooled. Yesterday, in the semifinal against Grande Prairie, Kindersley was in a 2-0 hole early, almost the identical situation. And this club has the ability to hang in there, weather the storm, and come out with a victory. That's what they did against the home team last night in front of a big crowd. Now they're in there. Basilewski right in front, and he came close to getting the Clippers' first goal of the game, but Whitley says no, sir. 2-0 Tigers.
Well, you can't quite see him sitting behind the red post. Michael Koska on defense for the Aurora Tigers, and like I said, he's going to go to the University of Massachusetts. He came over to the Aurora Tigers from Ajax, and you'll notice certain players are wearing cages. That is by choice of the player. It's not a rule in the league, but the choice of Michael Koska, it's up to him to wear the cage instead of the visor, and that's what he's doing.
Van waved out of the face-off circle in his own zone to the right of Whitley. Clippers trying to control off the draw. They can't, and out comes Aurora. Pass looking for Walker. They can't clear again. Kept in by Scully. He chips it off the glass. Brought down by Kindersley. To the line and out. These two teams, of course, met in the round robin, and Aurora won that one easily, 5-0. They scored 4 power play goals and a shorthander in that game. Flecken behind the goal. Leclerc gets it far side around to the point where it's kept in by Kindersley, and that shot just goes wide of the mark. Off the boards, they keep it in again. Here's Fleck. Has it taken away by Walker, and now they get it out. Well, that round-robin game was back when Kindersley was off to their terrible start, and even the head coach, Williamson, Marty Williamson of Aurora, admitted it's a different team now. And they can't get overconfident, even though they've got a nice little 2-0 lead here early.
We're going to have a look at a veteran player for these Royal Bank Championships, Jason Fleck of the Kindersley Clippers. He was last year with the Camrose Kodiaks, and he lost in the final to the Humboldt Broncos. So he knows what it's all about to play in these final games.
And he had scored some big goals in the playoffs for the Clippers. There's McNarty snapping one in there. Jodek stops it.
One thing we've noticed in yesterday's game, especially in Aurora, really picked up on it, were the bounces. Watch the bounces off the end boards. This is a nice new rink. This is a lively bounce that comes out on an odd angle. And this is just before the Aurora Tigers score their goal. There's an opportunity. They take that into scoring the goal, but Kindersley not ready for those bounces. Aurora knew them. They scored 2 goals on the bounce play in yesterday's semifinal game, and I don't think Kindersley's prepared for those crazy bounces off the end boards.
Aurora scored 7 goals against Nepean. The Nepean Raiders, they dominated them 7-2 to get to the championship game here tonight. McNarty fires another one off the end board. That one didn't bank out front like maybe he wanted it to. Lalonde's in there along with Kitchen. They win the battle, get it deep. Now Lalonde in behind the net, tries to go short side on the wraparound effort. But Jodek read that and closed the gap. Now coming up with it is Chris O'Connor. He can't get it in, but Chad Seidel does. Rolls in behind the Aurora goal. Lalonde's there. He's given a rough ride by Maddock. Maddock now with a puck on his stick. They get it in deep. Here's Sim. Along the near side boards, he is pinned right now by Kyle Aitken, and the play is whistled down.
You know, getting back to the lively boards, when I played with the Leafs, Robert Ramage was our captain. But watch how this puck bounces off the end boards. That is a shot. That is a play. It results in a goal. Robert Ramage used to call it the Royal Bank play because there's a Royal Bank sign beside the net at the old Maple Leaf Gardens. And he'd say if he couldn't get the shot through, he'd aim it 5 feet wide. So go to the side of the net for the bank. And then Aurora used it twice in yesterday's game. And they've seen it a couple times already in today's game.
See, the sponsors just think that they're just there for advertising purposes. But no, the players are taking advantage of their favorite ads. On the near side boards now, clearing attempt, kept in. Olsen scores! Jesse Olsen! A they couldn't keep it out or get it out. They sent it right at the net, and the heart and soul of this Aurora Tigers team, Jesse Olden, gets his first goal of the Royal Bank Cup to make it 3-0.
Well, Marty Williamson has his checking line out against Kindersley's one of the Kindersley's top scoring lines, and the checking line of Jordan Brenner, Jesse Olden, and Sam Swarchuk just do a fantastic job, and they're rewarded. Put the puck to the net and go to the net. Jesse Olden with his first of the tournament, and both he and Jordan Brenner, the captain, are playing in their final Junior A games.
Yeah, this is the final game, the end of the road for a lot of guys on both teams. The next big game they'll play will be the beer leagues or senior leagues. This is it, and that's a great goal to score for Jesse Olden, whose father was flown in by the club so he could watch his son play in Grande Prairie this week. And now the hole gets deeper for this team from Saskatchewan. Down 3-0 with just under 7 minutes to go here in the first period. Long pass up the middle, goes off with Shin, and it's picked off at center ice by Bayan. Aurora with a quick sticks in the neutral zone.
Aurora's going to play that trap game. As you can see, they're not coming hard on the forecheck. They've got a few goals up.
Now they've turned it over again. Machado with a quick shot. That rebound is cleared before another bad thing happened to Aurora. Now chasing after it is Steve McNarty. There's Kevin Boyan in there for Kindersley. He was tripped up, and we're going to have our first penalty call of the hockey game.
Well, Kyle Aiken, I think it's a 1st and 10 call as he tried to reach around to get the puck, but it didn't quite work that way as the large body, a little bit of a hook as he's reaching around. He stumbles and takes the Kindersley player down, and you got to say that is a penalty, whether you like it or not. But we'll see the Kindersley power play try to get themselves back in the game. They're being outshot 12-6 right now. We'll see Kyle Aiken get the holding penalty. This is a big power play for Kindersley.
They win the draw, back to the line. Kept in there, but now it's knocked out by Olden, and here he comes, trying to break away shorthanded. Olden shoots, and it's saved by Jonathan. Olden, who just scored a goal moments ago, just couldn't break away. Kindersley was 0 for 8 on the power play in their round-robin meeting against Aurora in that game that I told you about where they lost 5-0. Now Kindersley's having trouble just getting it up the ice. Troy Schwab chips it in there. Vazilinski's in behind the goal now. The captain with it. Gets it back to the line for Vaughn. Cross ice, quick pass into the middle. Picked off for the moment and now scooped up and sent back to Vaughn. Down low, Vazilinski shoots, and it was deflected just wide. Run hard around the boards, then out of the zone, down the ice with 1 minute gone in the Kindersley power play. Kelts being bothered from behind, but now he's pulling away at center ice. Mark Kelts flips it in there deep. Fleck is after it. So is Lee. Comes to O'Rourke at the point. He can't contain it, and out it comes to center ice. Mark Kelts now with a long lead pass. Bayan got his stick on that. Lee's after it, being watched by Hotham. Into the corner goes. This is Jesse Fisher. Back to the line for Kelts. Cross ice for O'Rourke. O'Rourke tries to feather one in there. Whitley saw that one coming, steered inside, and out it goes with just 25 seconds to go in the power play.
Great penalty killing job by the Aurora Tigers. Pressure everywhere on the ice, and that's the way to kill the penalties. They stand back. Kindersley had some great power play chances in yesterday's semifinal game, and I think Aurora realizes if you give them the time, they're going to make the plays, and they've got some good snipers.
Now here's Fleck in behind the Aurora goals. Got Sim out in front. O'Connor's creeping in there. He's looking for him. They score! A bang shot that goes, and Kindersley's on the board just as the power play was ended. 3-1.
Jason Fleck was looking to pass that puck, but they got the lucky bounce. It went off Mike Koska's foot and redirected. Chris Whitley didn't have a chance on him. You can see he's looking to pass. This is what he talks about. They're just waiting to make the plays. He fires it across. He's coming in with the defenseman pinching in. I think he was going to Chris O'Connor coming in the far side, but it hits Mike Koska's skate and goes right between Chris Whitley's legs as Whitley was anticipating the puck coming in front of the net, and he's following it across. That's the lucky bounce in semifinal game yesterday. It was the captain, Curtis Beslinski, who stepped up and scored a short-handed goal on a terrible giveaway by the Grande Prairie goaltender. And once again, their first goal is kind of a lucky break and a lucky bounce, but they're right back in the hockey game.
Well, needless to say, they needed that one. They're back within 2, but here comes Henderson trying to fight his way in, being helped out by Kinelli. Great work by the Tigers here, and a great stop. Puck was loose for the moment. Referee lost sight and whistled it down as Aurora comes very close to restoring the 3-goal lead. But Kindersley has gotten on the board with a bank shot. 3-1. Welcome back to Grande Prairie, where these Aurora Tiger fans are happy. Their team up 3-1 in the first period.
Esso rewards youngsters across Canada with most dedicated, most sportsmanlike, and most improved player medals, and reinforces team commitment with certificates of achievement for each member. Esso, premier sponsor of Hockey Canada.
Well, Dave Hunchak got a goal from Jason Fleck. It was a power play goal, as that power play was just about over to Kyle Aitken. And we're sitting with a 3-1 hockey game. Aurora right off the draw. The shot off the stick of Swarchuk. Deflected high, and now the net comes off its boards.
Here's the energy line for the Aurora Tigers again, just getting it done. Winning a face-off, putting the puck to the net. And that's exactly what Aurora needs right now. After you get scored against, you want to put your energy line out there, try to get everything back in your favor after the other team scores. And there's no better line than Jesse Olden, Jordan Brenner, and Sam Swarchuk for the Aurora Tigers.
Number 9 for Kindersley taking the draws, Troy Schwab. He was their leading scorer during the regular season. Has just 2 goals so far in this Royal Bank Cup. Kept in by Gilbert. He fires it right on. Jodick was looking for it for a moment, but he's got it.
Faceoffs are so important. Back-to-back faceoff wins by the Tigers, and they get through great opportunities to score. Olden on the draw, wins 2 in a row. Actually gets a little help here on the giveaway. Excuse me, I thought he won that straight back. But something that Kindersley's got to be aware of, that they've got to make sure they get, when they win a draw, you've got to keep puck possession.
That last draw was won by Fleck, and the Klippers were able to get it down the ice. Here's Costa, who has one of the Aurora goals. Spinning back in his own zone, sends it near side. McCloskey can't keep the forecheck pressure on enough, but it's sent down the ice, and it's coming right back down. Icing is the call.
Aurora Tigers are not going to play this game. We saw them yesterday with a big lead. They're not a team to sit back on it, although they do fog up the neutral zone. They're going to continue to pressure, continue with their forecheck game, but they're not going to take crazy chances and try to run the score up too quick. They're going to wait for Kindersley to push and make the turnovers, and then they'll try to capitalize.
Bain wins that draw. Right over to Derek Jocelyn. Chipped off the boards and picked up on the run by Walker. Here's Walker down the right side, stops up, feathers it in front, and Bain was all tied up. Following up now is Scully. Tries to get it to Bain, but Fleck swipes it away from him. Kindersley gets it out, now Fisher gathers it up at center ice, leaves it for Fleck. Fleck snaps a shot right on the mark. Whitley the save, Lee with a shot into the back of one of the players in front of the net. Almost a turnover there. The high slot by Leclerc. Instead, he gets it out. Here's Bain down the right wing boards. Walker's in the middle. Drops it off to Leclerc. Leclerc's in there. Passed it in front. Jodick makes the save. It's lying there. And we have a penalty coming up right in front of Jodick. A cross-checking call as Walker picks himself up off the ice.
Mark Kelts takes a good shot just after this chance by Francis Walker. Francis Walker scored on one of these. There's the cross-checking penalty, no question about that. But Walker scored on one of these yesterday. Gets the puck left to right and just makes a quick swoop move, but he wasn't able to find the puck, and he paid the price going to the net. As it was Mark Kelts, gave him a good stick right across the back.
So Aurora's power play goes to work. They've been operating at around 24% here. That puck pops over the stick of the Aurora defender, Andrew Hotham. Kindersley knows all about the Tigers' power play. They scored 4 power play goals against them in that round-robin game. McNarty now looking for Lalonde. He was angled off. Hotham steps up and keeps it in deep. Hotham and Lalonde in behind the goal. Kitchen's out front. At the line waiting for it is Koska. Tapping his stick. Now Kitchen has it. Kitchen High for Koska, tries to snap a shot. It's deflected, rebound straight in. Shot on the net. Jodic makes the save, and it's clear to the line and out. Koska has to retreat back into the neutral zone to reset. 1:07 remaining in this Tigers power play, and just over a minute and a half remaining in the first period. 3-1 hockey game. Big penalty kill here for Kindersley is needed. Keep them in it right in front for Bain, and he tipped it just wide. He scoops it up, gets it back for Jocelyn. Jocelyn to Aiken, or LeClaire rather, snaps a shot that hits the man in front, Scully. Now LeClaire has it. Gets it high, and the Clippers get it down the ice.
I think Matt Bain was a little surprised on the last pass by Sean Scully.
Here comes Scully in over the line. Scully snaps a shot, big rebound, they score! Jodic kicked one out. It hit a man in front and then trickled into the Kindersley goal, and the 3-goal lead is back. Power play goal for Aurora.
Well, I was just talking about how Sean Scully made a beautiful pass to Matt Bain last time. Well, this time he's not going to pass it. He pulls to the middle and he shoots it. And this is just a lucky bounce. And this is what happens when you score in 5 straight games. You throw the puck to the net. Now Sean Scully's 9th point, and he's gotten a point in every game of this tournament. And for Kevin Jodic, that has got to be disheartening. He's made some big stops. His team had a 3-1 down 3-1. He made some big stops, and to have that one go in with just about a minute to play is very disheartening. Yeah,
it's got to be even more disheartening for Chris O'Connor. It went off of his skates or his shin pad and into the net. O'Connor is a guy that Dave Hunchak calls a real horse. He logged a lot of ice time for this Clippers team, and that was just a bad break for him. He's right back out there, however, as bodies crash into the Aurora goal.
You know, Dave, I've never been a big fan of getting rid of the red line in hockey, but they're talking about doing it. You see this a lot. Here's Chris Whitley, fires the puck up. Sean Scully just gets the puck and just waits and waits and waits. But if it's not for the long bomb pass, which we've seen a lot, we saw the 2 games yesterday, we saw it plenty of times. Now, I don't know if it would have been offside. It was deflected by Kindersley player at center. But still, if it's not, you could stand at the other blue line, and it really does generate some great offensive opportunities, especially on the power play, where the other team will just hang at the far blue line.
This is the first year that they've taken the red line out of play for that long bomb pass at the Royal Bank Cup. But a lot of these players, such as the Aurora Tigers, play without the red line in their league. And as you can tell, they're very used to it and can exploit it. And that's basically what created the last goal. Under 30 seconds to go. Another shot snapped in on net. Jodic steered it into the corner. Brenner in from behind by Steve Maddock, and we'll have a face-off coming up in the Kindersley zone.
Well, 20 shots now for the Aurora Tigers, and it's very tough on Kevin Jodic. Tremendous young goaltender, and if it wasn't for him, we talked about it at the start of the show, the Kindersley Clippers would not be here. And the funny story with him is that he joined the team prior to their championship game when the Saskatchewan-Manitoba champs played off against each other. He came in right at that time to join the team.
Quirky rule they have in junior A hockey. You can pick up a guy who you've been battling against, and it only is in effect for goaltenders, by the way. As Kindersley barges in. Whoa, there's a great stop from close quarters by Whitley. Kindersley's not going to go away here with lots of time left. Whitley was forced to make a save, and he does. Otherwise, this could be a very different situation heading into the first intermission. But instead, because of that guy right there, it remains a 3-goal lead.
21-8 were the shots for the Aurora Tigers, but you got to be happy the way Kindersley finished the period. Great shift at the end of the period. You got to look for positives, down 4-1, but you still got 40 minutes of hockey, and they came back yesterday from 2-0 early, so don't count Kindersley out yet. We got lots of hockey left.
Chris Whitley has family back home in Ajax, including his mom, Maria, watching at Aunt Chris's place. I bet you they like that save right there. First intermission coming up. Welcome back to Grande Prairie, Alberta, where the kids are on the ice, getting a chance to shine at the first intermission of the Royal Bank Cup final, where it is 4-1 Aurora. 4 goals on the board for the Tigers, one of them scored by our guest, Jesse Olden. Thanks very much for joining us, Jesse. Quite a period for you guys, including 1 goal by you. Why don't you tell us about yours?
We did a strong forecheck, and I went to front of the net, and Brenner saw me and fed the puck right down to me, and there was no one on me. I just put her down low.
And I believe here that once you go over to the glass, you had to retrieve some equipment, didn't you?
Yeah, I guess I over-celebrated, and I lost my my glove and stick in the crowd.
Well, good thing that this pro-Western crowd was nice enough to return that stuff to you.
Jesse, maybe your dad was the guy that came in from back home. I think they should have brought your father in a little earlier in this tournament. That was your first goal of the tournament. Your dad's got to be pretty happy with that.
Oh, yeah, he must be. Same thing that happened last when we were in the Dudley. He came up for the final game, and I hadn't had a goal, and turned out to be the game winner in the Dudley Hewitt. So I'm happy he's here.
A great period, as we mentioned, but I imagine that you guys know this is a very experienced team that you have here. A 3-goal lead is good, but you certainly can't take anything for granted here in a championship game.
We still got to do the hard work and things, get the puck in deep and go to work. And, we can't sit back on this 4-1 lead. We got to keep going at them. And, we seen what happened last night against Grande Prairie. They were down 2-0. They came back and won 3-2. So anything can happen.
I'll give you a quick chance. You want to say hello to anybody there at home?
Yeah, I'd just like to say hi to everyone. They're over at my Nan's house. And happy Mother's Day, Mom. I love you.
Good stuff, Jesse. Thank you very much for taking time out.
Thank you.
Jesse Olden, one of the goal scorers for the Aurora Tigers. The Tigers hoping to win the Royal Bank Cup, something that is definitely not easy to do, as Rod Black explains.
The Stanley Cup. It is hockey's most cherished prize. To win it, you must endure 3 months of intense and grueling playoff hockey. But in the end, the reward is worth the sacrifice. The sacrifices required to reach the Royal Bank Cup are even greater than those of the Stanley Cup. At the start of the year, 137 teams from across Canada begin the season with the thought of winning the national championship. But by the time the puck drops on the Royal Bank Cup, only 5 teams are remaining.
We set the goal that we wanted to get here and try and win this thing. And the disappointment we had last year that, with so many guys coming back, that it wasn't just to win our league, it was to go past that and represent and get into the Canadian National Tournament.
I think, the far reaches in the back of the mind, they ultimately all want to reach here. But at the start of the season, I think they're more concerned at that point, first of all, making the team and staying with the team and making the league playoffs. And then it starts setting in what they've got looming ahead of them is the Royal Bank Cup road. And then I think it really hits home and saying, hey, we've got a chance of being the best in Canada.
The only way to go from 137 teams to 5 who participate in the season-ending tournament is an extended playoff format. After a regular season of approximately 50 games condensed into 4 months, teams begin their playoff run for the Royal Bank Cup in early February, 4 months before the championship weekend.
It gets tedious, there's no question about it. It's hard mentally on the players to build themselves up night after night, knowing that there's no tomorrow. They've got to win and they've got to keep winning, and when they get through one series, there's the start of another one and going through the same procedure again. And this happens right across the country through the league playoffs and then regional playoffs.
Playoff hockey at any level is exhausting. In the NHL, you see players wearing their bumps and bruises from the playoff grind. The Junior A players suffer those bruises and more in a playoff journey that is like no other. Ontario is home to the greatest number of teams and therefore the most playoff rounds.
I think Ontario is one of the toughest provinces to get out of. We started in February against Lindsay, and it seems so long ago, and it's been playoff hockey since then. So when you go through that much, the best of sevens, and then a tournament just 2 weeks ago in North Bay, and we got home for 4 days, and then we've been here for 9 days. So we've been on the road a fair bit, and it's a tough tournament to get to, and it's a tough tournament to win.
It's really difficult, especially with in the OJHL or Provincial League. There's 5 rounds to get out of the playoffs, and we get the Dudley, and now the Royal Bank. It's a lot of games. With the season, it's around 80 games, 85 games. So it's just sometimes you get mentally fatigued and physically you get fatigued.
When you add the long bus rides and the fact that many of these players will never reach the bright lights and big bank accounts of the NHL, it's amazing that they endure the sometimes torturous physical demands they are put through. These players should be applauded for their love of the game and dedication to it, all with the hope of lifting a cup that to them is every bit as important as Stanley's.
Well, right now there's 40 minutes to go in the last game, and right now Aurora is in charge. Highlights coming up. You know, I don't think of that young lady minds really cares who wins. She's just here for the juice and for a good time and good crowd here at Grande Prairie. And right now they're watching the Aurora Tigers out of Ontario dominate the opening period, as we're going to see in our highlights, Dave.
Well, the Kindersley Clippers got down early in their semifinal game, and they are down a little bit farther than their last game. But you've got to give Aurora credit. They make some absolutely beautiful plays. This is a great play by Koska. Just the double little fake pump, change the angle, beautiful high wrist shot. I'd say everybody at UMass is going to love that. Here's the checking line. When your checking line chipping in with big goals, you know something's going right. Kindersley did have a little bit of a glimmer of hope, but nice deflection off of Koska's foot. But the leading scorer for the Aurora Tigers, Sean Scully, comes back and gets a lucky bounce himself. But 4-1 after one period of play. The shot's 21-8 for Aurora. So Kindersley's got a lot of work to do. They got caught pushing a little bit on their forecheck, and the Aurora Tigers just sat back and waited for their opportunities, and when they got their opportunities, they were able to finish.
So a 3-goal lead after 20 minutes in a championship game. Can overconfidence become a factor? You've been there.
Well, I've never had a 3-goal lead in the final game, though, but it can. But I don't think you're going to see that with the Aurora Tigers. They've got a lot of veteran players on this team. This team is built on veteran players. They've got plenty of experience, and they know what it's all about and why they're here. And I don't think you're going to see that. On the other side, though, Kindersley has got to really just start playing a stronger positional game. Don't get caught in outnumbered situations and be patient. 3 goals isn't a lot, as we saw yesterday. You can score goals in bunches in these games. And Kindersley's got the offensive players to do it. They just have to play a much more patient game in the neutral zone and wait for their opportunities, because they are getting them, although there were just a few that period.
And if you look at some of those goals, I don't know if you can fault Jodic too much there. I mean, 2 of them were one was a 3-on-1, another one was a great shot by Koska.
No, you can't fault either of the goaltenders on any of the goals. A couple lucky bounces on 2 goals, but Jodic got Kindersley here, and I don't think anybody's going to say a bad thing about him. And the thing is, when they went down 3-1, he made some huge stops. And he made some big stops, and then Aurora got a lucky one to make it 4-1. You could see the displeasure on Jodic's face as he skated typical goal. He skated away from the net a little bit and shaking his head and kicking his feet. But I think Kindersley's going to come out with some jump. They showed that they could do that yesterday, playing the home team in a much more hostile environment with the home crowd here. And I expect them to do the same now.
Second period is just about set to begin here in Grande Prairie, northern Alberta. It's been beautiful weather up here in the Peace River country up in northern Alberta. 4-1 after 1. Well, we can't start the second period just yet, because over in the corner, far corner of the Aurora zone, we have, well, it's a fish.
It's a fish. It was an octopus yesterday. And earlier in the tournament, when the Kindersley Clippers played the Nanaimo Clippers, there was a fish thrown onto the ice, and nobody was really sure which team it came from. And now that Kindersley's still playing and a fish is back on the ice, I might have to say it might be a Kindersley Clipper from Saskatchewan tradition somehow.
I will never forget doing this game in Flin Flon, Manitoba a couple of years ago, and I was witness to their tradition of throwing fresh moose legs on the ice, and I'm not making that up. Anybody who's watching in northern Manitoba in the Flin Flon area is nodding, going, yeah, that's right.
So, what about it?
What's the big deal? Well, the news here in the second period is that Kindersley has changed goaltenders. Now in net for the Clippers is Nathan Diabald. And we'll tell you about him. He's a guy who played an awful lot. He was their #1 guy all season long before Jodic took over. Now he's going to be put to the test coming off the bench. As Kindersley's pulling out all the stops here, down by 3 in the early stages of the second period. Lee crashing in there against LeClaire. Pins him against the boards, but it's scooped up by Walker. Francis Walker, look at him skate it out, drops it off for Bayan at center ice. Bayan now in over the line. Snaps a weak one in, handled by Diabald. Now in behind the net is Kelts. He's pressured, circles back, tries to get it up ahead to Baklaschuk. Kelts again with a puck on his stick. Cross ice over for Larocque. Larocque was pressured. They had the lone man in deep there for Aurora. It was Sam Skwarchuk causing all the trouble. Now Brenner The Aurora captain sends it in. Skorchuk keeps it deep. Brenner chasing after it into the far corner. He's got Olden circling around. Here's Olden in the corner with Skorchuk in front. Nice pass back to Kosko. Snaps win it on goal, and Theobald has to make his first save of the hockey game.
Well, we touched on a little earlier. So Nathan Theobald has stepped in, seeing his first action in this tournament.
No, he did play in game 1 of the round robin, so this is his second game that he's played in. The rest of the way, it's been handled by Johnny.
Well, the thing about Theobald is, we talked about it, he gave up the #1 job when their team was down 3-1 in the final, the tournament that they won to get them to this point. He was the #1 goalie. The team's down 3-1. He says, you know what? I think we need a change. And they switched. They went to Jodek, and now it's gone back the other way.
Taylor Emerson spun off the puck there as Aurora won't let Kindersley get it out of their zone. Alex Lalonde with a forecheck pressure to the line and just out. Lalonde will have to clear the zone. Now McNarty is the man in deep. Emerson with it, gets it along the near side. Kitchen keeps it in there. Now with a break, coming out with it is Maddock. Maddock trying to make a move. Flips it in towards the goal. Whitley lets it roll in behind the net, and it's scooped up by Aurora. On the move now is Aitken. Aitken drops it off for McNarty. Back to Kyle Aitken and around the goal. Looking for a man to center it to, but now he is pinned by Emerson. Two big bodies there in the near corner. Now out with it is Tonelli. He had it taken away, and Josh Sim tries to skate away. Minchella got the stick on him, and Kindersley will go on the power play.
Minchella got called for hooking, just reaching around, and the problem here is that Aurora's kind of caught in a line change. I don't know if you call it a little embellishing, but he had to reach in with the stick because Aurora was changing, and they only had one man back. Kindersley was coming out on a 2-on-1. Minchella had to reach in and just slow him up a little bit. As he slowed him up, he went down and threw the penalty.
So another great opportunity here for the Kindersley Clippers to get back into this hockey game. They're down 3. And their power play has not been a strength for them here at the Royal Bank Cup. O'Connor tries to get it in the middle, and it does to Fisher. Fisher carries it in, now right in front for Fleck, and he tipped it right on goal, but Whitley was ready for it. O'Connor with a one-timer, missed it, fanned on it, and Nolden's right there to scoop it up and send it in deep. Vaughn starts it back the other way. Flick with a pass into the middle for Lee. Looking for Fisher on the far side. Aitken's watching him. Kyle Aitken playing a lot here for Aurora. Lee comes up with it. Banks it off the boards. Gets it to Vaughn. Quick pass to the far side for O'Connor. His shot is blocked in front harmlessly and carried out by Matt Bain. 1 minute gone in the Kindersley power play. Here's Aitken. Top of the circle. Slid one just wide on the near side. Now here comes Troy Schwab. Schwab with 11 goals in the playoffs. Led the team in that category. He'd love to have one here. Basilinski out of the corner. Gets it back for LaRock. LaRock back to Curtis Basilinski. LaRock with a shot through traffic right on the mark, and Whitley saw it all the way.
Well, we're going to have a look at a few of the players, the Kindersley Clippers, who probably played their small-time or small-town hockey in small towns, as you see, led by Curtis Basilinski, who is the real catalyst of this team. 100 people in major Saskatchewan, where Curtis Basilinski's from, and this is what Canadians' hometown hockey is all about, growing up in small towns and coming back and playing for the junior team that is closest to you, 45 minutes away, or 45 minutes away. Major Saskatchewan is from Kindersley.
100 people. There are 4 local boys from Kindersley on this Clippers squad. And they said during the playoffs they were getting crowds of well over 2,000, which is almost half the town. I'm sure they would have sold more if they had any more seats. And I'm told they are packed in the Kindersley Inn and the Red Lion Inn watching this one on TSN. Those that did not make the nearly 10-hour drive to Grande Prairie. Phelps keeps it in. Power play is over. Team's back at even strength. Kindersley managing just 1 shot on that power play. Basilinski now trying to keep the pressure on. Oska cleared that before it was able to come out in front. Into the corner it goes. Now to the line and out. Just about 5 minutes gone here in the second period of the final of the Royal Bank Cup. Kelts skates it out for Kindersley, being hounded all the way, finally turns it over. And now Henderson in on the forecheck, being helped out there by Minchella just out of the box. Minchella trying to make moves, leaves it for Tonelli. Tonelli now with some room to move, goes back of the net. Minchella's in front, so is Henderson. And we have a penalty call coming up as Henderson and Minchella and Tonelli were causing all kinds of trouble.
Justin Wilczynski's going to get the penalty earlier in the play, but the whistle was blown down because of an illegal change. Aurora got caught switching off for the goaltender a little too quickly. But it's Justin Wilczynski who's going to take it a little bit of a hook on the boards as the rush is coming in. And this is a fourth line for Kindersley. They're an energy line. You see it here, a little bit of a hold. Excuse me, it wasn't a hook, and a spin around. And that'll get you in the box all the time. But this is a great energy line with Derek Dorsett in the middle and Kevin Boyan on the right side. They did a great job drawing penalties in the semifinal game for Kindersley, but unfortunately, they've taken a penalty at a bad time.
And now that high-powered Aurora power play gets another chance to go to work. And things are going from bad to worse for Dave Hunchak.
Well, we talked about just talking about the fourth line for the Kindersley Clippers. You've got the guy in the middle, Derek Dorsett, played midget in AAA, and he's property of the Red Deer Rebels.
LeClaire back at the point, gets it back to Francis Walker, right in front, and a nice save with the glove by Nathan Diabald.
Good stop by Diabald. He hasn't seen a lot of action. Second shot, really, he's had to step up and make the save on. This is in tight. Quick little backhander. Tough to get a read on a play like that for the goaltender. You really don't know where the shot's going to come from or where it's going to go. And in this situation, there wasn't enough on it. Wasn't moving fast enough, but Diabald was sharp enough to grab with the glove.
Face-off won by Aurora. LeClaire gets it right back to Walker again. That pass goes off a skate. It's right in front, and Diabald cleared that. And Kindersley sends it down the ice. 30 seconds gone in the power play. Aurora with a chance to go up by 4. Now Walker lost the handle just for a moment. Manages to get it in there. Bayan chasing after it. Sean Scully on the other side. Big player for Aurora. On the scoreboard, he's big as well. Oscar gets it back to Scully. Scully winds up, then passes it right into Francis. It goes off of both posts and passes right back to the goaltender. And Francis was inches away from his second goal of the game.
Well, Sean Scully is so patient. He's got such a huge reach to be able to protect the puck, and this is a pass shot. Frenchie Walker can't believe that one, but he let up on it. He thought it was in. I think he thought it hit the back of the net, and he's standing watching it from here. He normally scores these goals. Goes post to post.
That almost got all 3 posts.
But he stays with it. He thought it was going in.
Same power play unit remains out there up front. Hotham's now the point with Jocelyn on the far side. Scully digs it free. Here's Hotham stepping up. Shoots! Scores! Andrew Hotham, another power play goal for Aurora. And they're laying a whooping on Kindersley here.
Andrew Hotham, another one of the young defensemen for the Aurora Tigers, comes in with a beautiful wrist shot to the far side. This is what happens at the power play. You just get that extra room. Nice shot by Hotham. Past the blocker of Diabald. And Andrew Hotham has got some connections to the National Hockey League with his father, Greg Hotham. Played the Toronto Maple Leafs and Pittsburgh Penguins.
Fans in Barrie, Ontario will see him playing for the Barrie Colts, along with his brother Scott next season, quite likely, whereas dad Greg also works the radio crew there as well, covering the Colts.
It's just a family road trip.
Yeah. Can you imagine that, though, working the radio, color commentary, and with your 2 sons playing for the team?
Well, Andrew actually was drafted by Guelph. He came over in a trade to Barrie. And I think that you'd like to think Dad had something to do with that, trying to say, can we get them all together?
5-1. Aurora in full control of this one. Lalonde spins off a check of the Kindersley blue line. And the Clippers are really going to have to pull out all the stops now. Another penalty call coming up. as there was some aggressive play along the near boards. But there's the latest goal scorer. Andrew Hotham, 17-year-old defenseman, buries one to make it 5-1. Well, Jade McCloskey for the Kindersley Clippers is down for 2. Elbowing is the call, and here it is right there.
Right there, Kyle Aiken takes an elbow and a bit of a stick, but you got to give credit to Kyle Aiken for, you're up by 4 goals halfway through the second period. You could easily turn around and retaliate, but that just shows the age and maturity of the Aurora Tigers, and they're not going to do that. They're focused.
Look at that. They are 2 for 2 on the power play. They have scored 6 power play goals against Kindersley if you go back to the round-robin game in which they scored 4. So you would have thought that Kindersley would have learned their lesson about staying out of the box. Not so. Back-to-back power plays here for Aurora, and a chance to make it 6-1. Here's Koska now. Slaps one towards the net, and that snapshot is smothered up by Diebold.
Well, I think we're going to see Nathan Diebold working a little harder, as the Kindersley Clippers have taken another penalty, and Thomas Hewling's going off here for tripping. This is not what you want to do. A little frustration, I'm sure, coming in, but you've got to try to stay focused as much as possible. Now we're going to see Aurora snap it around, a 5-on-3 for almost a minute 35. There's a little bit of a slew foot right in front of Jamie Minchella.
Koska now with Leclerc at the opposite point, taking their time. Leclerc back to Koska, who has a goal in this game. Leclerc winds up, takes the shot, rebound is cleared, and Lee had a chance to get it out, but he can't. Now here's Emerson with a weak backhander. Scully, who's got 1-1 in this game along the far boards. Koska winds up, fires one right on, stopped by Diebold, and the rebound is sent into the corner. Minchella now gets it back to Sean Scully. Top of the circle up to Leclerc. Fires a one-timer that deflects wide. Scully gathers it up again. Moves in. Sends it across to Walker right in front of Minchella. And they just failed to click. 50 seconds to go in the 2-man advantage. Leclerc now with the puck down low to Francis Walker. Back to Leclerc. Over to Koska. Quick shot. And Diebold got a piece of that. Mark Koska feeds it back into Scully. He was pressured, but Koska steps up in the play. Walker's wide open. There it is on his backhander. Turns, shoots, and rebound is going to be cleared here by Lee, but he can't get a hold of it. Now Fleck banks it off the boards and down the ice with 20 seconds to go in his 2-man advantage. One last chance here for the Tigers. Jocelyn now. The high circles. He's with Leclerc down low for Lalonde. Banging at it. Puck is still loose. McNarty's in there. They try to get it out front to Walker, who's still out there. First penalty is now over, so it's a 5-on-4 for another 23 seconds. Good work here by the, no doubt, tired penalty-killing unit for the Kindersley Clippers. Hotham with a one-timer, deflects high and wide. Fleck off the boards, right into the Aurora Tiger player, Jocelyn. They keep it in. Not for long. Down the ice it goes, and that will do it. So they weather the storm. They managed to kill off that 2-man disadvantage and keep it a 5-1 hockey game here at the midway mark of the third period. Now here's a chance right in front for McCloskey, and he couldn't get a shot away in the backhand. He's hauled down. Now Kindersley returning the favor. Feeding off a little momentum after that big penalty kill. Sent down the ice. This is not going to make it. For an icing call, O'Rourke back to get it. Chips it off the boards. It goes to center ice, where it's left there by Schwab, and that will be icing against Kindersley. The good news is they killed off that power play. The bad news is they're still down by 4. Welcome back to Grande Prairie, the Crystal Center, and hey, Shea and Jackson, don't stay up too late. Mom will be home soon to Kindersley.
The RBC Local Hockey Leaders Program recognizes dedicated volunteers that support hockey in their community. This season, RBC's donated over $100,000 on behalf of 14 regional winners like Art Como of St. John, New Brunswick. For more information, visit rbchockeyleaders.com.
Face-off coming up in the Kindersley zone to the right of Diebold. And Olden is waved out of the face-off circle, so the Tigers captain Jordan Brenner steps in to take that draw. Here's Skorchuk. Sam Skorchuk along the 4 far boards, being watched there by Kelts. Puck comes loose, gathered up by Larock. Aitken back to get into position. Following up is Fisher. Backhanded pass in front. Looking for Schwab, and he couldn't reach it. Now Fleck, the lone goal scorer for the Clippers, puts it across the goal mouth. It goes far side and right to Larock. Now here's Fisher. He centers one right through the slot. Schwab puts one towards the goal. It's lying there. Whitley has to make another save in close. Again on Fleck. There's no quitting that guy.
Well, he's been here before. One of the oldest players for Kindersley. And we're talking about guys who have been here before. Francis Walker has been to this game in this tournament a few times. Actually, he's been to the tournament twice. This is his first appearance in the final. He was in the tournament with Ottawa in 2002, with Charlottetown 2003, and now he's here with Aurora. And he came in with this team, came in to be the goal scorer, and that's exactly what he's done. The guys absolutely love him, and that's why everybody calls him Frenchie instead of Francis.
This is the first appearance by an Ontario team in the Royal Bank Cup final. The last team to make the final was back in 1995 when this tournament was known as the Centennial Cup. And that was the Gloucester Rangers, who made it all the way and failed to win the big game. But they got there. LeClaire now scoops it up and skates it out for Aurora. Bain at center ice. Trying to get it ahead to Walker. Jocelyn keeps it in. Aurora has to clear the zone on the delayed offside call, and that gives a chance for Kindersley to set up and start out. At center ice, this is Basilinsky. He chips it off the boards where it's gathered up by Aurora. And that one's over the glass and into the seats. 8:08 remaining here in the second period.
Well, Kindersley's going to run into trouble by trying to carry the puck in. They're going to have to start firing the puck in. And we talked about earlier, the defense in Aurora is young. Even though they're up 4 goals, if you want to put pressure on a team, you've got to get to their young players. And Kindersley hasn't been able to do that with any success, getting the puck in deep. They just can't get through any of the neutral zone trapping or clogging.
And down at the other end, Chris Whitley has quietly been solid, making the saves that he's needed to make. He's only faced 11 shots. There's been a couple of saves that he's had to make in close, and the lone goal that got by him was a deflection off a skate, and he really had no shot at it. Whitley playing in his final game, his 3rd year with the Tigers, wants to go out on a winning note.
Everybody coming into this tournament talking about the age and the veteran players of the Aurora Tigers, and we're going to have a little chat about the young defensemen. As you see, Andrew Hotham is 17. Derek Jocelyn is 17, and you've got Mike Koska is 18 years old. And you look at the top lines for the Aurora Tigers, the 2 top lines will be leaving. This is their final game. They've got 6 forwards. Their 2 top lines are not going to be back. And now we've got
calamari. We had fish earlier, and now we have some calamari on the ice. The seafood store here in Grande Prairie was doing a brisk business, I see.
Well, I think they're saying Chris Whitley hasn't had enough to save. They tried to throw it at him, but he's not going to let that in either. It stopped right in the crease.
He wasn't touching it either.
I don't think he's very happy with it.
No. Hey, he was really at ease before the hockey game. He came up and said hello to us a couple of hours before the game, and which is odd for a goaltender. What a stop down at the other end by Diebold. Goalies are usually quite focused before a game like this, but he's walking around saying hello.
Right. He's winking at people in the stands there. Great stop by Diebold here. Alex Lalonde just piles down over top of him, trying to step around and get out of the way, but he couldn't do it. But Kindersley held their composure there, being down 4 goals. But this is the way Aurora plays. They're not going to stop. They get the opportunities. They're not going to go around the net. They're going to continue to play the same game from start to finish.
Again, Diebold coming in here in the second period after Kevin Jonick allowed 4 goals in the first. A move no doubt made to spark the team more than anything. Rock had no idea where that puck was. Aurora keeps it in. Right out in front, there's Olin with a shot. Great stuff by Diebold, and the rebound trickles right through the crease. What a save by Diebold. Now play in the near corner. Comes to the blue line and out. See if the Klippers can respond and give one back to Diebold, who's really hanging him in there. Whitley is run over behind his own net, and there is another penalty coming up here to Kindersley. As Whitley's gathering himself back there. He's going to skate to the bench and shake it off, knowing that his boys are going right back onto the power play.
Well, this could stir things up. Jason Fleck, a veteran player, is also known for his aggressive play. And you know what? His goaltender got run over at the other end. He's going to come in. Nothing mean, nothing vicious, but you know what? I'll just kind of slide in here and semi-finish the check and say, you know what? We don't like you running over our goalie in a 5-1 game, so we're going to do this to you. And Jason Fleck took a 10-minute misconduct. He was so involved in the game, and he's one of the best scorers for Kindersley. Took a 10-minute misconduct against Grande Prairie in the semifinal. Wasn't very happy at himself. He came out. He scored the tying goal in that game, which allowed them to win it with 35 seconds left. But Jason Fleck's the leader of this team, and whether it's right or wrong, he sent a message there to the Aurora Tigers saying, you know what, just keep playing the game, but stay away from our goalie.
Aurora 2 for 4 on the power play. They just had a 2-man advantage a few minutes ago here in the second period. Now they got a fresh 2 minutes to work with here in the late stages of the middle frame. Back to the line for Koska. His wrist shot right on the mark. Deflected up into the netting. Face-off coming up. You know, for Chris Whitley, this is a chance for him to make amends a little bit. He had a real tough call go against him last year, this time in the playoffs, where he shot the puck into the crowd, and that was a rule of suspension. He was suspended for 5 games, and Aurora, they were in the final at the time in Ontario. They had to rely upon a bantam-age goalie after their backup got hurt and the season ended. So Whitley is loving the opportunity here to go all the way. And right now he can sit on a nice lead while his team works the power play down at the other end. Walker with the latest shot on goal. They now have 35 of them. Well, we know there is going to be a Game 6 in the series between the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Philadelphia Flyers in the Eastern Conference Final. Series all tied up at 2. You can see Game 6 Thursday night on TSN, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. After that big performance by the Flyers on home ice yesterday. And their captain, Keith Primo. Leclerc winds up. Nice stop by Diebold. Can't cover up. Comes back to the line for Leclerc again. Walker moves into the slot. Snaps one. Hits Diebold. Rebound is lying there, and it's clear.
Nathan Diebold's done a nice job. He's hitting a lot of shots, mainly on the power play. But you can see why they were quite happy with him being the #1 goaltender all year. Tremendous reflexes.
Leclerc chases after it, try to center it. Here's McNarty trying to get one over to Joel Kitchen. Now it comes in front, trickles just wide. McNarty after the puck again. 38 seconds to go in the power play. Shot from the point, right on. Diebold saw that. Lalonde's got it. Another penalty coming up. And I believe this one is going against Aurora.
No, Thomas Huling, I believe.
Another one against Kindersley?
Yeah, I believe
yes,
it looked like he chopped Alex Lalonde, and he went down, and then when Lalonde was down, looks like Huling fell on top of him and just kind of gave him the extra shot, but the penalty was for a slash or a trip as he takes it right there. You could call it trip, you could call it slash, but then it's the little extra, little shot in the head, saying not happy with what's going on, some frustration, but he just got the original for the slashing call.
Well, we have seen discipline kind of go out the window there for Dave Hunjak's team, particularly on the last 2 calls against them. One for running over the goaltender and behind his net, and now for some real aggressive play there by Huling.
And I think if he had slashed him on the leg or in the pants, but when you hit them in the hands, that's something that they look for in the National League. So this is a 4-minute penalty.
He's got 2 for slashing and another 2 for the cross-check on his way down, which you saw there. So it's a 2-man advantage for 25 seconds. The second 2-man advantage for Aurora in this period. Jocelyn gets it over to Hotham. Hotham has got a goal. Feathers went in for Olden. It rolled by him. Schwab gets it down the ice. With just 10 seconds remaining in the 2-man advantage. But there will still be 3.5 minutes to go worth of power play time for Aurora. Already sitting on a 4-goal lead here. Skorchuk now right in front. Diabald makes the save. Can't cover up. Referee lost sight. Blew the play down. Faceoff coming up inside the zone.
Well, shots on goal are definitely one-sided. 39-11 are the shots. 21-8 for Aurora in the first, and much the same in the second, although Aurora has had a lot more power play time in the second period they have in the first, and you got to give Nathan Diabald credit. Even though it's a 4-goal game, he really has kept it down to 5 rather than letting a few of these power play goals in, or power play shots, excuse me.
5-on-4 now as the puck hops off the stick of Walker, who's given a hard bump along the near boards. Walker's right back on his feet, puck on his stick. Koska with a wrist shot right on the mark. Puck is loose. Walker scores! Francis Walker with another power play goal. And his second goal of the hockey game.
I suppose we should never say anything good about a goaltender and how well he's playing, and they get one like this, although you can't blame Diabald. This is just another strong power play. Everybody gets to the net, and who's the guy who pops in the goal? Francis Walker. That's exactly what he's there for. He finishes. He's got great hands in tight. You've got the big body Scully in front. Everybody's jamming away. Matt Bain comes in to jam away, and they're outnumbered 3-2. Francis Walker doesn't miss from there too often.
Both of these semifinal games were played yesterday. Kindersley did play the later of the two, but I don't really think you can say fatigue was a problem here for the Clippers. I think they've just been outmanned, outgunned, outperformed, and it's going to be a long third period for them as Aurora is in firm control of this one.
Yeah, this is very frustrating. You get all this way. You play so many games, so many title games, and to come here and run into going into the third period. There's 4 minutes left in the second, but going into the third period down by 5 is not the way you want your season to end.
And Aurora is still on the power play. This is now the second of the 2 minors incurred by Thomas Hewling. That discipline could cost them another one here. It's already 6-1, and here they come. J.B. Minchella over the line. Stops up, then feeds it into the corner for Tonelli. He's in there with Henderson. Minchella helping out now. Taking a swipe at it is Kindersley. They can't get it out. Jeff Gilbert keeps it in along the far boards. Now here's Gilbert walking in. Jeff Gilbert down low. He couldn't find his man Henderson. Some power play time for some players who probably wouldn't get as much.
And that's the way you can keep the other team by saying, you know what, we don't want you to run up the score. You play your third and fourth line on a power play. Coaches call it rewarding, but unfortunately, when you're out there on the power play, you want to get close to the net. Well, that's not going to happen because Chris O'Connor is pushing and shoving, making sure that nobody in Aurora is getting close. But Aurora is a very disciplined team. They do not retaliate. And even when the game's you're up 5, you could easily take a free shot, but they haven't yet. They've just sat back and taken every shot and keep scoring.
Jocelyn with a shot, stopped by Diabald through a crowd, picked up by McNarty. He stick handles him behind the goal and chases it near side and leaves it for Kitchen. Kitchen tried to get it to Hotham. Rolls past him, and Fleck is hustling after it against Jocelyn and Hotham. He's 1-on-3 with nobody helping him out there with just 41 seconds to go in the power play here. McNarty was a step ahead of the play. They have to clear the zone. Kelts off the boards, down the ice, where Whitley handles it. Leaving it for Hotham. Fleck up there as well, had it taken away by McNarty. Now here's Skorchuk. Trying to get Jocelyn on the move. He sends one towards the goal. It bounces off some bodies near side. Hotham now. Back to the line for Skorchuk. Into the middle for McNarty. Skorchuk winds and fires. It deflects up and over the goal. Penalty is over. So they allow just the single power play goal at 6-1 with just over 2 minutes to go here in the second period. And the Aurora Tigers look to be well on their way to a national championship. In over the line now is Walker on the move, back in front. Looking for Skorchuk. His backhander steered aside by Diabald. Fisher now Almost turned it over to Francis Walker in front. The Clippers come in over the line. Schwab chases it into the far corner. He's watched by the Aurora forward, Matt Bayan. Now puck squirts loose where Fisher was looking for it. Gilbert's in there. Comes near side for Vaughn. He keeps it deep. Schwab out in front. Here's Vasilevsky with a quick shot. I believe Whitley got a piece of that, and it deflects high, and out it comes. Play is whistled down, and with that, we'll take a break with just over a minute to go in the second period. Well, the Toronto Blue Jays wrapped up their weekend set with the Boston Red Sox with a 3-1 victory today at Sky Dome. They'll take on the Minnesota Twins next, and you can see game of that series on Tuesday right here on TSN, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, the Twins and the Jays on TSN. Here we have the Tigers and the Clippers. And right now the Tigers are clipping the Clippers big time. In a championship game that's been one-sided from the get-go. Aiken headmans the pass up to Henderson. Chasing after it is Michello right in front. Tavelli scores! 7-1, folks.
Well, when things are going right, everything's going in the net. And we've had pretty solid goaltending from Kindersley, even though they've allowed 7 goals. But this is just a complete breakdown. Great forecheck by the Aurora Tigers. Throw the puck to the net, drive the net. We've said this all day that the Aurora Tigers play the same style of hockey, whether they're up by 1, down by 1, up by 5, down by 5. Marty Williamson said there's a system, everybody's bought into it, and they don't stop. And it just shows 7-1, and they're not going to quit. They're just going to keep playing, keep shooting, keep driving the net, keep doing what they've done day after day the whole season.
Michael Tonelli from Markham, Ontario. He's been a scorer on past teams that he's played with, but he's accepted a very different role here with the Tigers, and he gets rewarded with a goal in a championship game here today. And I'm sure, 20, 25 years from now, that goal will mean a lot more than it actually does right now when he's retelling the story.
Oh, it still means a lot right now. Don't worry about that. It doesn't matter if it's the first goal, the 7th goal, or whatever. You score in a big game like this, it still means a lot. But absolutely, when you win the game and you score in that game, there's nothing better than to say you contributed.
Final 20 seconds here of the second period. And Aurora is going to head into the dressing room with a 6-goal lead. And they'll just have to run out the clock here, I believe, against Kindersley, as they are well on their way to a national championship.
Here's the Aurora Tigers, same thing. Well, now if you're the Aurora Tigers, you've just got to make sure that you hold all your emotions in check. It's almost, you can say, you're going to go through the routine of playing the third period, but the shots are 46-14. Chris Whitley hasn't seen a lot of action in today's game, and I think he's quite happy to have it that way. He's seen a lot of shots over the course of this tournament.
Fine with him, as his team now just has 1 period to go, and their job is done. Second intermission coming right up from Grande Prairie. Welcome back to Northern Alberta. We are in Grande Prairie for the final of the Royal Bank Cup, and there's the score, folks. Aurora is all over Kindersley right now, 7-1. Joining us now from the Kindersley Clippers is Jason Fleck, the guy who's got that 1 goal. Jason, you played in this game for the Camrose Kodiaks a year ago. This must be this is a tough one going into the third for you guys.
Yeah, it's very tough. We definitely expected better so far, but we've been a team that's never quit all year, so we're going to go into the third period with that same mentality we have the whole way.
Jason, your coach has great things to say about you. He says you're one of the biggest scorers of the clutch goals. Can you tell us a little bit about the goals you scored, the game winners that you scored to get yourself to this tournament?
Well, Game 6 in our league final, I got the go-ahead goal, which ended up being the game winner, and same thing in the Anavet Cup there in Game 7. I got the go-ahead goal 2-1 goal 2-0 actually, but it ended up being the game winner in the Anavet Cup, and And that's about it. Just work hard and hopefully you get the bounces. And up till now, they've been going in for us.
Well, you're being too kind. Yesterday's game, you scored the game tire as well that put your team in the situation to score the game winner and put you in this game today. So you're being too modest.
Well, you know, I give a lot of credit to my line mates and teammates because it's 20 guys out there doing the work, not just one guy.
You started with Kevin Jodek in goal, and Nathan Diabald has come in and done a nice job with some big saves there in the second period. A very unique situation as Diabald played mostly for you guys this season, and Jodek was added late. How does that go over from a chemistry standpoint? Nothing against Jodek, but it is a unique situation.
Well, it was a unique situation, but you know, Nathan was the one that was man enough, and he stepped aside because he didn't think that, or he thought the team needed to change. So when Kev went in and he got the job done, Nathan just kind of was a part of the team, and Kevin's fit in really well. And then we gave Nathan the chance again in Grande Prairie, and you know, he was a bit nervous and hadn't played in a couple weeks, but so then Kevin went back in. He's done a great job for us, and too bad we couldn't have given our goaltenders a little bit more help so far tonight.
Well, you got 20 minutes to go, and I know number 7 is there's no quitting in that jersey. I've mentioned that once before tonight, and I'm sure you're going to give her here in the third. Thank you very much for your time, Jason.
Thank you.
Jason Fleck of the Kindersley Klippers, who are in a big hole, down by 6 after 2. This is a league and a level of hockey across Canada that has had a lot of players, a number of players you'd be surprised that have gone on to NHL fame.
Well, Tier 2 hockey was actually a great stepping stone for me. It was, you know, it was a place to, you know, obviously, you know, you're coming from midget hockey to Tier 2, and you really learn. You know, obviously there's a little bit of fighting, and you learn the aspect of, you know, really, you know, trying to protect yourself and learn the game at a higher level.
I played in Thornhill, and it was a great experience. I moved away from home when I was 16, and it was definitely a learning experience, something that helped me out to, you know, throughout my career.
It was an opportunity for me to play on a team that was very widely recognized in the Toronto area, and a lot of guys getting scholarships. So I tagged along for a year and was able to get one, but it was a lot of fun, and it was fun being able to play and you know, in that Toronto area and live at home during that time, and it opened some doors for me. There's no question.
It was my first real chance to kind of get noticed by scouting in Ontario and give yourself a chance to go play in one of the 3 leagues. And I was 14 when I left home, and I played in Kingston when I was 14, and I think it was the best decision I've ever made in my life. And I don't think if I never ever went to Kingston, I don't think I'd be where I am today.
Well, I think as you go up and you're playing bantam and then you play midget with all your respective clubs, certainly there's a great deal of talent, but when you get to the provincial junior level where you get all the best of the best from the Toronto area, then certainly the level of skill, the level of commitment, and the competitive balance certainly picks up. And when I went to Pickering and played with the Panthers, that was the best hockey that I'd ever played from the age of 4 all the way up through to 16. And that prepared me to make it so that I could make that transition to college hockey, because that, again, was the next step before I got to the professional level.
It was a great stepping stone for me en route to college, and I really enjoyed, I actually played with Gary's younger brother there, so that's going back a few years, but great time playing in Pickering.
At the age of 16 and 17, I didn't think I was really ready to play major junior hockey. I was getting a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger, and for me, it was an important time in my life to try to get stronger as a player and really develop. And I think at that level and you know, Tier 2, it was a place where I was able to gain confidence and try some things that you know, maybe I wouldn't be able to try in major junior, and for me it was great, and it was a great place to learn how to play.
And who knows, maybe this guy beside me, Adam Kinnaird, might be one of those guys who joins all those other names in the NHL. We'll speak to Adam and tell you why it's a big day for him in just a moment. But first, I want to introduce you to Mr. Henry Craker, Sales and Marketing Manager for RBC Royal Bank here in the Peace River Country. Peace Country? Peace River Country?
Both are correct.
Okay, Peace River region. Yep. What a great week it's been for Royal Bank.
It has been, Dave. The city's been buzzing with Cup fever all week, and the fans have been treated to some outstanding hockey all week. As a matter of fact, they've set a attendance record for RBC Royal Bank Cup of over 36,000. The city of Grande Prairie, the local organizing committee, the outstanding volunteers have put on a great event, worked very, very hard for the last 2 years.
And RBC Royal Bank has been involved in this for several years now, and they continue to be so with scholarships like the one that's being awarded to Adam Kinnaird today. He is the RBC Junior A Scholarship Award winner for 2003-2004.
That's right, Dave. Our partnership with Hockey Canada allows us to support this great game of hockey right from the grassroots level up to the Olympic teams. And Adam is a fine example of the values that RBC strives for. Adam was chosen because he exemplifies the leadership, excellence, commitment, and teamwork, not only on the ice, but also in the community and in the classroom. Our congratulations goes out to Adam.
And congratulations to you, Adam, as well. You're from Edmonton. Yeah. $5,000 scholarship to help with your education. Where are you going to go? Have you decided?
Well, right now, I currently go to the University of Alberta, and that's where I'm going to go next year.
Fantastic. Now, where'd you play this year?
For the Fort Saskatchewan Traders in the Alberta Junior Hockey League.
How'd you guys do?
We started strong, but we didn't end up where we wanted to.
Well, maybe you'll end up here very soon, and or in a CIS event down the road that we can see you in. But best of luck and congratulations on
Thank you very much.
Adam and Henry, thank you. Enjoy the rest of the game. Third period is coming up. Dave Reed will be back with highlights when we come back on TSN. After 2 periods of play, the Aurora Tigers have a 7-1 lead over the Kindersley Klippers from Saskatchewan. And needless to say, the score tells the whole story there, Dave Reed. Aurora's been in charge pretty well from the get-go.
Really, they have. They've got a couple lucky bounces for them. The only goal against was an unlucky bounce, but the Aurora Tigers, Chris Whitley's done a great job stopping what he's seen. He hasn't seen too many of them. But this is not the game you want to have when you're in the final. This is not the game you want to have if you're Aurora. Yeah, you'd like to win, but you know what? Everybody dreams of scoring that goal with the last minute or an overtime. And this one up 7-1 going into the third period. There are some beautiful goals, but the power play has really taken charge in the second period. As you can see, Jason Fleck, as we spoke to him earlier, getting a little frustrated as the game went on, but the power play for Aurora has got some beautiful goals. This is Francis Walker steps in and taps that one in. They're just outmanning Kindersley everywhere to the puck. They're winning all the little races, winning all the little battles. I don't think you can't say Kindersley tired. They played a very emotional game against Grande Prairie last night, but I just think it's Aurora got the jump and haven't stopped.
The second period summary is brought to you by Chevrolet for all of life's roads. So, you know, this is the point in the show where I usually ask you, well, what are the teams doing to prepare for a third period? But really, I mean, it's just a matter of running out the clock and I guess making sure they don't limit their mistakes the rest of the way for both teams.
Well, and also you don't want to get injured. When you get games like this, you can start doing crazy things. You start overhandling the puck, going into situations that you wouldn't normally put yourself in because it's a loosey-goosey type game now, and you've got to stick to your game plan. Aurora's done that. We've talked about it all day, how they will stick to it, whether up a goal or down a goal. And I would expect Aurora to continue to put the puck to the net and crash the net. And Kindersley, they've got to step up and they've got to get some goals to almost, you can say, save face in a 7-1 game.
Yeah, I think they would, because this has been a nightmare for them here today at Grande Prairie. Aurora's skating away with this one, up 7-1. 6 different goal scorers for the Aurora Tigers. Francis Walker has 2, and 5 other guys have all chipped in to a dominant performance in a championship game, and they're 20 minutes away from capping off their season with the biggest win of a lot of their careers, no doubt, to this point. Puck rolls in on the Aurora goal, and Chris Whitley covers up.
Well, I mentioned a little bit about it. The Kindersley Clippers, they're going to come out. They've got to come out flying. And for many players out here, this is their final game. You want to end on a high note. It doesn't matter what the score is. They're all in there saying, you know what, let's win this third period. Let's show the hockey that we've played. You saw it in their semifinal game. Much different team than we've seen here today. They've had a great last 2 games. They struggled early in the term scoring some goals. But they're here for a reason. They're here because they're a good club. And unfortunately, the score is not showing how good the Kindersley Clippers really are.
They still are one of the top 5 teams in the country, having made it here, won their way here. Grande Prairie, a good team in its own right. They get to come here as the host team. But Kindersley won their way here. It's difficult to get out of Saskatchewan, and they did just that. Penalty call coming up, and this one's going against Brenner of Aurora, so the Clippers will get an early power play.
Well, Jordan Brenner gets the stick up a little bit on the back check, up around the neck and up in the helmet, and that's going to be 2-0. There's no blood, no cut, so he doesn't get 4 on it, but This is what we're talking about now. Kindersley's got the opportunity on the power play, and so this is time to score a goal. Try to get some momentum going. They've got lots of fans here. They've got a great group of people who have come in. They were crazy last night at the game. Unfortunately, they've had to be quiet because there hasn't been a lot of positive for Kindersley so far. But this is an opportunity they can get their fans back in and get this crowd going for them.
Their lone goal of the game, scored by Jason Fleck, came on the power play. Right away, Aurora sends it down the ice. Long pass off the mark. Matt Bain sent it right back in there where it came from. Scooped up by Mark Keltz. Here's Keltz on the move. Makes a move inside his own blue line and then comes near side for Jade Baklaschuk. He drops it off for Fisher, who's in there. Banned on the shot. It goes back of the net. Gathered up by Casey Lee. Here's Leclerc. Backhands the puck out to center ice, and Keltz has to chase it back into his own zone. Again, they give it up here. Lalonde can't get a shot away as Keltz had his pocket picked there by Kitchen. Lalonde's in after it short-handed, 1-on-3. A rock gives him a little bump along the inboards and pins him. And Lalonde, content to just take more time off the clock, will draw a face-off inside the Kindersley zone. Well, if you want to keep track of all that's going on at Hockey Canada, log on to www.hockeycanada.ca. There's a lot of news right now. You can read all about the World Championship. Team Canada won a week ago today. And, of course, Wayne Gretzky and his staff naming Team Canada for the upcoming World Cup. And, of course, all the results and stats from this Royal Bank Cup. It's all there at hockeycanada.ca. Kindersley can't even get a hold of the puck, let alone gain the zone here on this power play, which now has under 30 seconds to go in it. Up with it is O'Connor. He fires it in. Whitley handles it behind his net, leaves it there, but Schwab is the first guy there for the Clippers. Troy Schwab. He can't control it. It's sent down the ice, and this will pretty well do it for the Clippers power play.
Great penalty killing, and then this is just great aggressive. Start with Joel Kitch and Alex Lalonde on the first part of the penalty kill. Great forechecking and just push. They're not worried about a 7-1 game. They're playing it as if it's a 1-0 game, and if they don't kill the penalty, they're going to lose.
Power play is over. You're right about that. There's no let up here with the Tigers. No shots on that power play for Kindersley. I think it's safe to say the wind is out of the sails and has been for a while now. Aurora's had a lot to do with that. Quality team here, the Aurora Tigers. An Ontario team has not won a national championship. As the puck is bouncing around in front of the Kindersley goal there, comes outside the line. Since the Thunder Bay Flyers won the Centennial Cup in 1992. They beat the Winkler Flyers in the all-flyer battle. And that Centennial Cup held in Winnipeg. So it's been a long wait for Ontario despite all the great teams there that they have. Brenner now in on the puck, snaps one short side, gathers his own rebound, but I believe the puck is, or rather the net has come off its moorings, so play is whistled down.
Oh, the score at 7-1, something we looked at coming into this game was the Kindersley Clippers were coming in winning their last game of the round robin. Well, the last time a team did that, they also set a record for most goals in a final game. It was Vernon 9 over Charlottetown 3. And Vernon, they won their last game against Estevan Bruins. They won 3-2, and that was the last game of the round robin, which put them in the semifinal game. They beat out Bramaley Blues, the Ontario team that was first in the tournament, and that put them in the finals. Very exactly the same as the Kindersley Clippers did, but the Clippers weren't able to get the goals in today's game, and it was the Vernon Vipers won that game, but Kindersley Clippers have turned it around, and they're now behind by 6 goals.
Kindersley was trying to become the second Saskatchewan team to win the Royal Bank Cup in back-to-back years. The Humboldt Broncos did it a year ago in Charlottetown, but that is not going to happen today. Francis Walker in the corner. Gets it to the line, but not out. Now in with a puck is Kindersley Clippers forward Justin Wilczynski, who has not seen a lot of ice time here today. Here's Leclerc in over the line into the high slot. Wilczynski was back-checking and broke the play up. Try to get it ahead to Fisher. Fisher can't reach it. Leclerc with it now. Over to Mike Koska. Remember that name if you're keeping track of the upcoming entry draft, as he is rated sitting right now at 165 on the final Central scouting list, as his performance here this season pushed him up 60 spots from where he started at the beginning of the season.
There were 5 guys who have been rated in the Central Scouting League ratings coming up in this June draft in the National Hockey League. And Koska is the one player who moved up the most. He moved up over 60 positions in the draft. So he's had a great second half and a great run through the playoffs with the Royals.
Here's O'Connor down the right wing board, stops and puts a shot towards the goal. It goes across the slot, and it's cleared by Aurora. And icing is going to be the call against the Tigers with 14:55 to go.
And here we talked about the 5 players. Raymond Sawada from Nanaimo, he's ranked 33. Scott McCullough for Grande Prairie, a big sniper for Grande Prairie, was ranked 40. Jordan Foote, another Nanaimo player, ranked 69. There you see Michael Koska. He's up to 165, and Kyle Radke of Grande Prairie at 169. That's a tremendous accomplishment playing at the junior A level, the provincial junior A level. And most of these players are looking, if not to move on to major junior, but to move on to scholarships. And that's exactly what Mike Costa's doing. He's going to UMass next season on a full scholarship.
Here's Schwab with a shot. Whitley got a piece of that. It rolls into the far corner. Vazilinski's there. There's Fleck. Comes back to the line, sent towards the goal. It's a man in front and goes wide. Another penalty call coming up. And this one, I believe, is a holding call against Hotham of the Aurora Tigers.
One thing about the draft list in the Central Scouting, that is the rankings for North American players. There's also rankings for European players. So where they're ranked may not be where they're going to be picked in the draft. And here we're going to see the penalty by Hotham right in front of the net. Andrew Hotham getting a goal. Now he's got a penalty in the game.
Kindersley's second power play of this third period. They didn't manage one single shot on their last one. Shot on the way from Vazilinski, handled by Whitley, and to the line and just out. Vazilinski back to gather up, gets it to Kelts. Banks it off the boards to his captain, Vazilinski, into the middle now, and on the move is Schwab. He drops it off for Fleck. There's the shot. Whitley the save. In behind the Aurora goal now, Troy Schwab trying to carry it out. He does, moves into the middle. Schwab's right in, trying to pick the top corner, and he just missed. Aurora clears it down the ice. Diabald out to get it with that long stretch pass up to Schwab. Feeds one into the corner. Kyle Aitken steers it in behind the goal, and Leclerc sends it out.
Even on the power play, the pace has slowed. Chances down deep. Everybody just seems to be standing. But Schwab did a great job of stepping out in front. But unfortunately, when there's a 6-goal differential in a game like this, everybody wants to play to the outside, move the puck around. And I think Aurora's going to see you can have the outside shots. You're not going to get in the way. Chris Whitley's probably happy to see a little bit of action, but there's just not the emotion in the final game that you would have liked to have seen.
Remember, Kindersley knocked out the host team last night in a semifinal with a goal. They scored. They won it 4-3, and they got the game winner with 35 seconds left on the clock. And they just sucked the air right out of this jam-packed, loud, noisy arena. And the dream ended for the Grande Prairie Storm, who were trying to become the first host team to win this since the Halifax Olin Exports did it a couple of years ago in 2002. O'Connor with a shot right on the mark. Whitley saw that and stopped it. Kicked it aside. Just seconds left in this power play. Chance in front, but it's cleared. Power play is over. Kindersley fails to score. It remains 7-1.
Kindersley's not going to quit. They're still pushing. Still crashing the net. They want to get a couple of goals. They want to change the score. They want to put a few goals up. I don't think they're going to get 6, but they definitely don't want to walk out here with only scoring the 1.
Puck goes out of play, and while we have a chance, we'll take a break. 7-1 in Grande Prairie.
Well, we expected to see a real goaltender battle because both goaltenders, you start with Kevin Jodek. Well, he was the MVP of the tournament, and on the other side you had Chris Whitley, who was voted the best goaltender in the tournament. So we expected to see a very low-scoring game, and that just hasn't happened today.
It certainly hasn't. Starting to go downhill early on the poor Klippers team here. Jocelyn makes a move in behind his net, lost control of it, but right there to help out is Henderson. Kept into the line by Emerson. Boyan now. Evan Boyan in there wearing number 15 for the Clippers. Wilczynski is the fourth, lines out there for Kindersley. Out with it is Jocelyn. Carries it at center ice, goes wide side to Tonelli, down the right wing boards. Stays on his feet, can't center the puck, however. The blue jerseys are all over him, and they'll get it out. Hewlin carries it at center ice and flicks it in there. In after the puck, right on top of it is Derek Dorsett. Battle along the near boards, right around the blue line as Kindersley manages to keep it in there. And now it's cleared by Aurora. LaRocque at center ice will start back the other way, in over the line. Has Dorsett heading for the front of the net, takes the shot on Whitley, and he makes the stop. Over on the bench, one of the assistant coaches for Aurora, that is Thomas Milne. I had a chance to speak with Thomas before the game, and we certainly send our condolences out to his family as his mom, Brenda, passed away suddenly yesterday after having a heart attack earlier this week. So he's here with a very heavy heart, but he said we got a job to do, and the boys have all been great to him and wanted to win one for him in memory of his mother who passed away yesterday. And this shows the level of commitment that's involved here in the long road. You heard Marty Williamson talking earlier about how long they have been on the road just to get here, and they've been here for over a week now. This will be a very special day for each and every one on that bench and everybody involved with the Aurora Tigers. They've been around an awful long time, but they've never been to the final. And they are capping off what's been a dominant season with a dominant victory in the national championship game.
If you're an Aurora Tiger fan, you would have had to travel with the team to see them win any of their championship games so far this season.
Again, emotions getting a little out of hand, a little bit, for Kindersley, as the discipline factor is not very high with them right now. They've taken another penalty, this one going to lead.
So cross check, little rough, punch to the face, little cross check to the back on Jesse Oldman. I don't know if he's going to call the first one, the second one, or the third one, but that's just definite frustration as the game goes along. And a lot of little things that'll go on behind the scenes that you don't see up here, you don't see on television, and I'm sure now the players are going to take a few whacks at each other to get back, but definite frustration for Casey Lee.
Aurora opened the game going 2 for 2 on the power play. They're 3 for 6 as it sits right now. That puck trying to keep it in there is Koska. He can't keep it in. Comes out to the neutral zone area. Here's Koska now with it in his own zone. Aurora, certainly not for lack of trying, could have had more goals with a man advantage, as they've had 17 of their 48 shots on the power play. And here comes another one right in front for Scully. Flips it up, and he couldn't find the mark. John Scully, who already has a goal and an assist and has tied the tournament scoring lead. There's a chance in front for Bayan, and another stop by Diabald.
You can hear the Kindersley fans. They're definitely behind their team, cheering every save now by Diabald.
Here's Koska now stepping up in the play, trying to center it for Walker. Taking a poke at it is Hotham. Another penalty call coming up, and this one is also going against Kindersley, where slashing will be the call.
Well, this is just definite frustration, and for Kindersley, just taking the hacks and the whacks, but I think they're getting a little frustrated more at the referee now for the calls than they are at themselves or the other team. Aurora's had 2 penalties so far in this game, and Kindersley's been going to the box regularly. You'd like to think that Sean Scully in that situation would probably bury that if it was a 1-0 game, but he just seemed to be a little nonchalant, and he sent a beautiful pass out to Bain, who just couldn't finish afterwards.
So it's a 2-man advantage now for 49 seconds. Jocelyn at the near point goes over to the other point for LeClaire. Back to Jocelyn. Winds up, fires a shot. Diabald makes the stop, looks behind, and realizes, no, I guess I do have it.
Well, we were talking earlier about, we're going to have a look at the stop first. Diabald makes a great stop. You just see the quick peek and say, hey, where is it? I was talking earlier about how Aurora has won every game. They won the first 3 of 5 best-of-7s, all on the road. They won their championship to get here on the road in North Bay in a 5-1 game. They haven't been able to carry any trophy or any excitement of winning a round at home. So if you're an Aurora Tigers fan, you have to travel a long way this spring to watch your team win the championship game.
They've had some big crowds at home for when they've been playing at home in the playoffs in their rink, and they've had TV coverage here all week long as the games have been picked up on local Aurora cable, so they've been following along. And no doubt they're watching in pretty decent numbers back in Aurora here on TSN today. Here's Jocelyn now, who will play for the Ottawa 67s next season. Played 6 games for them earlier this season. 17-year-old Derek Jocelyn.
51 shots.
Yeah. They have allowed an awful lot of shots, have the Kindersley Klippers this season, or rather this tournament here. An average of 35 per game coming into this championship game. And that average is going to go up a little bit more with over 50 against them already here with still over 8 minutes to go.
And even though Kevin Jodok and Nathan Diebold have seen the 51 shots, you really can't blame them for any of the goals. They've made some great stops, and the goals, we heard Jason Fleck talk about it in the interview, that the team just really hasn't been there to help out the goaltender at all today.
5-on-4 now as the first penalty has come to an end. They carry it over the line. Henderson collides heavily with Seidel as he was crossing the line. I think both players are all right, but now we have a stoppage in play as someone from Aurora is skating back slowly to the bench area. I believe it's Minchella.
Don't know if he caught a stick. He definitely wasn't involved in this hit. But this isn't where that's a great mid-ice hit. And that's what happens when you get games like this. You want to cut to the middle where you normally would know, you know what, I'm not going to cut to the middle because I'm going to get hit. And when the game starts stretching out, you start to do things that you don't normally do. And Henderson just caught his head up at the last second on a good hit by Chad Seidel.
Meantime, Jamie Minchella still shaking it off over at the bench. We can tell you the next edition of the TSN Sports Center is coming your way very shortly here on TSN. Coming up next, Dan O'Toole and Jay Onray. They'll have all the news of the day, all the highlights from Calgary in that Game 4. Talk about road warriors. No home team has managed to win a game yet in that series. All the baseball, all the highlights from here in Grande Prairie as well, coming up on Sports Center.
I don't know if the Aurora Tigers are going to have their young defensemen with them next year. A lot of teams will build for future games, future tournaments. And I know Aurora's done that in the last 2 seasons, and by getting to this point with their experience up front. But it's been the opposite for Kindersley.
Another good save from close range by Nathan Diebold.
Kindersley has more experience on the back end on the defense, and they're going to lose more of their defensemen than they will forwards next season. Whereas Aurora, they're going to lose all their forwards, and their young defensemen, they may end up playing in major junior next year.
Well, it's been a pretty quick rise for the Aurora Tigers since Marty Williamson took over as head coach. In his first year, they won the division. Second year, they went to the league championship and then lost in the final. And here they are about to cap it off with a national championship in Grande Prairie. Good work by him and all his players. Well, a picture is worth 1,000 words, and there's a couple of pictures being taken down low at ice level by one of the photographers documenting this one for Hockey Canada and the local press, no doubt. A lot of pictures involving the white jerseys. Good moments for them. Well, the Aurora Tigers, they're cruising here, up by 6.
You know, win or lose, you talk about taking pictures, everybody's going to want the memories of the tournament. And there's only going to be one winner, but it doesn't matter. Many of these players will never ever get here again, and many players have never played in a championship game. So you're going to want all the pictures you can get.
And as we mentioned, several of the players on both sides playing their final games here before it's off to the beer leagues and the rec leagues across the country.
Some are playing their final game because they're moving on to universities in the States. or maybe moving on to major junior in Canada.
Well, 4 of them play for Aurora, guys in their last games. Guys like Zanelli and McNarty, Whitley the goaltender, and Jesse Olden. And they're going to go out on top, which is a great way to do it. No matter what level you play at in any sport, it's pretty rare to go out in your final game with a championship. Dancing in is Dorsett, fresh legs on the backhand, and Whitley is forced to make a save on Derek Dorsett, the 17-year-old from Kindersley.
Well, we were talking with Marty Williamson, coach of the Aurora Tigers last night, and he's got a pretty good record of winning. He's actually got too many rings that he can't wear, so he keeps one ring that he won when he played at York, was the national championship in '85. Dave Chambers was his coach, and he keeps it in his left pocket. If you see his hand in his left pocket, you can see the ring on the right side, but his hand's in the left pocket, and he's holding on to the ring. Well, I don't know. I think he's trying to put it on his finger, but he doesn't have any room for that ring. And I think he's going to have to see what pocket he's going to put this ring in that he's going to receive from here. But he was telling us that, and we had to chuckle because he said in any close game or whenever it's tight, I reach in and I just grab that ring. It's all for luck, and it's superstitions go well beyond the players. It's right down to the coaches.
Aurora crashing in there as well. Another save made by Diabald on McNarty, who got the shot away in the backhand. Now it comes across the front of the net. McNarty turns and fires one right on. Diabald steers that into the near corner. And out with it is Kindersley. Here's Wilczynski with it over the line. Justin Wilczynski, first man of the puck. Gets it over to Boyan. Kevin Boyan can't control it. And Aurora will send it down the ice where this will be icing against the Tigers. And with 5:27 left on the clock, we'll take a break. You're watching the Royal Bank Cup on TSN. In just under 5.5 minutes of playing time, that is going to be awarded to the Aurora Tigers as we look at the game story brought to you by Chevrolet for all of life's roads. Aurora scored 2 quick ones back in the first period in just over a minute. Francis Walker, playing in his 3rd straight Royal Bank Cup, has 2 of the goals. 3 of them have come on the power play, and there's the shots on goal. Over 2-1 in favor of the Tigers. And Marty Williamson's club has done it. They've gone all the way. Long road to win this Royal Bank Cup. And it's going to be a great offseason for all these guys. And a great trip home. And I imagine a pretty good time tonight in Grande Prairie.
Now, the longer you travel, the more you want to win it, because if you've got to sit on a plane ride all the way back to Ontario and spend the day at the airport, you'd definitely rather go home. Probably feeling a little under the weather knowing you're winning, and you're going back home to a town that I'm sure is going to give these guys a great welcome home party and a great championship party.
Vaselinski with the puck, flips it up into the air. That's brought out of the air by Hotham. Rolls into the Klippers zone where it's scooped up by Kelts. Mark Kelts in his 2nd year with Kindersley, a good skater. As you can see, he's been out there an awful lot tonight. And this is his last game here in Grande Prairie. That's the other side of that story. You know, this is going to be a real tough one to take for a lot of these guys like Kelts. Now ahead with it is Troy Schwab. Shifty little forward, centers it, and what a nice stop by Whitley as he comes scooting across that crease to make the save.
Bauer Nike Hockey supports the development programs of Hockey Canada for players, coaches, and officials, helping all hockey participants in Canada realize their dreams. Bauer Nike Hockey, premier sponsor of Hockey Canada.
Whitley with a great stop. We told you earlier his mom is at home watching an Ajax with family and friends. This time last year was not a happy time for Chris Whitley as his father passed away, and he's no doubt thinking of that here tonight. Under 4 minutes to go for the Tigers. Far side now, they'll skate it out. Here's Sean Scully, the leading scorer for Aurora. Guy who played 4 years with the Ottawa 67s in the OHL, and I think you can tell by the way he plays, he's had a lot of major junior experience.
Well, you can just see the way he's just so calm with the puck. when he gets it, he's so strong, protecting the puck, working the corners. He's got fantastic hands, sees the ice very well. And he was at the Memorial Cup with Ottawa. And played 4 seasons with the Ottawa 67s. And now he's going to win his first championship in his junior career.
All smiles over there, as they know it's almost over. And here's some of the alumni that have played in Aurora.
There's some pretty good names, and there's some pretty talented players that have come through. And there you can see Greg Hotham played on this team, and now his son is playing on the team and scored a goal today.
They had to play in 5 best-of-7 series before they even got to the Dudley Hewitt tournament in North Bay, and then they beat a tough North Bay squad in their barn.
Team's laughing a little bit. Number 2 goalie Luke also just stepped up, barehanded the puck as it came into the bench. I don't even know if anybody was paying attention, but he just reached up and said, I'll take that.
Face off inside the Aurora blue line. Gilbert steers it over to Koska.
Actually, we're just looking at Luke Oshel. He's switched helmets because I don't think he wants to sit through his mask on, but he has to have a helmet on. And he's replaced his helmet with one of his teammates' helmet. So you're wondering why we were showing a player who caught the puck. No, that was actually the backup goaltender. I think he's getting ready for the celebration when he comes on the ice. He doesn't want his mask on.
Puck comes out to the neutral zone, ahead to Lee. Now there's just 2.5 minutes left in this game. Gilbert pins his man. Lee's in behind the net. Kitchen loses control of it. Dorsett steers it back towards the corner. Here's Lee cycling it around, trying to get it in front for one last goal on the season, perhaps. And now McNarty with a 2-on-1. McNarty right in, shoots. Nice stop by Diabald as McNarty was looking top shelf. And Diabald snapped that baby right out of the air.
That was the 57th shot for Aurora, and you're not going to see a nicer glove stop. This is a fantastic twist of the glove, and those are the ones that you catch behind you as he threw it up, and he had to reach behind him to grab it. But a fantastic stop for Nathan Diabald. But you can't blame the goaltending. Even though there's been 7 goals allowed, they've made some fantastic stops, both Diabald and Jota.
Steve McNarty, how about him? He left after last season in Aurora, went out to play junior A hockey in Salmon Arm, but he said he wanted to come back, and you can bet he's glad he did right now. In case you're just tuning in to catch all the scores and highlights on SportsCenter, hang in there. It's coming up. Dan and Jay are all set to go. Back at TSN Control with the next edition of the TSN SportsCenter. As soon as we're done here in Grande Prairie at the Royal Bank Cup. These guys won't be done for a while tonight. They're going to enjoy this one.
Well, they've got many final-year players, 20 and 21-year-olds who've waited a long time for this. A few guys have been here before, but nobody's won it before. So this is for this team and the players and the city of Aurora. It's quite an accomplishment to come this far. All the hockey they've played over the course of the season and the rounds of playoffs they've gone through. This is their 34th playoff game in one season.
Aurora just about a 45-minute drive north of Toronto, and there's so much great junior hockey in the Southern Ontario area at both levels, the major junior level and the Tier 2. Fleck now. A little backhand pass trying to get Schwab on the move. Here's O'Connor stick handling at center ice. As we now have 1 minute left, and I think fair to say mercifully for the Kindersley Klippers.
Sam Swarchuk plays on the checking line. He's the left wing of the checking line for Aurora, but he's a real character guy. I'm talking to Coach Marty Williamson. He said that Sam played a little bit of junior in Kitchen, a little bit of junior in Sudbury. He's a local guy. He's unbelievable leadership on this team, and he says he is one of the smartest players he's ever had to coach, and probably one of the smartest hockey guys he knows at this age. And he said, don't be surprised if you see his name coaching in minor hockey, if not in junior hockey someday soon.
From Bradford, Ontario, which is just a little bit north of Aurora, so he's pretty well a hometown boy. And how about the smile of the head coach, Marty Williamson, that you saw moments ago. As it's carried out of the Kindersley zone, 20 seconds now on the clock. Pinned in the near corner. The referee is going to make them play that one. In behind the net it goes. Aiken with it on his stick. As the final seconds tick off the clock, the Aurora Tigers are national champions. They left no doubt. This was all Aurora. As they come piling off the bench, 7-1 is the final. A dominant performance for Marty Williamson's team.
Fantastic week for both teams. Unfortunately for Kindersley to finish this way, but for the Aurora Tigers, what a fantastic season. They thought that they could have been here last year. They just weren't able to do it. An unfortunate circumstance with their goaltender suspensions we talked about, but they all came back this year, and the guys were dedicated from day one. Marty Williamson's team was a fantastic group of players who saw in the game how the discipline and the skill level of this team, and they deserved everything they received in this tournament. We wrapped it up with a very convincing 7-1 win.
The first Ontario team to win this Junior A National Championship since Thunder Bay did it back in 1992. It's been a long wait, Ontario, and that wait is over.
The 2004 RBC Royal Bank Cup on TSN is brought to you by RBC Local Hockey Leaders, recognizing dedicated volunteers who support hockey in their communities. By Esso. At Esso, we're drivers too. And by Bauer Nike Hockey, accelerating the world's fastest athletes. RBC Royal Bank Cup on TSN is brought to you by Molson Canadian. It's a Canadian game. By Chevrolet. Chevrolet, proud to support Canadian hockey through sponsorship of the Royal Bank Cup. By Steel, makers of the world's #1 selling chainsaw and full line of outdoor power equipment. And by Hankook Tires, driving emotion.
Reminder coming up next immediately will be Sports Center with Dan O'Toole and Jay Onrait. But I'll tell you right now, the boys from the East are going to party in the West tonight. The Aurora Tigers are national champions after a dominant 7-1 victory over Kindersley tonight in the Royal Bank Cup. On behalf of Dave Reed and our entire crew, thanks for watching, everyone. You are watching TSN, Canada's sports leader.